Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Widener Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Widener Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Widener Show, international war-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Widener Show is brought to you by Picture of This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautifully your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so yours. Who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming, and what better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? What if a gift of grandma's recipes, or just because those smiles and tears will just melt your heart? Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books, at 646-798-0809, or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention Mike Widener Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out the Mike Widener Show on over 30 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Widener Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Widener Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to check out the Mike Widener Show merchandise at themikewidenershow.com. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, and all kinds of goodies. Make sure you go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Widener Show or the MikeWidenerShow.com for great merchandise. And for more great merchandise and great books by Mia Molson-Zia, like Missing, Once, Wrinkles, and more, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia and check out a store today. And for more great merchandise like t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and a lot more, check it out. Makes great gifts. And don't forget to support the Mike Widener Show generously at themikewidenershow.com. Also on Anchor FM/support and PayPal.com at the Mike Widener Show, and make sure you donate generously today. We're here with 3 terrific ladies who is doing a web series called Love in 2020, which applies today, and they were part of the Dances with Film Festival. And we have 3 ladies, and one of them is a writer and producer and author of When Pigs Heal, and also an actress and a producer, which features Homecoming, Entourage, Speechless, and more. And we also have a wonderful lady who's a director and producer and involved with Ghostbusters, Snatch, and Long Shot, and David Fincher's HBO TV series. And of course, you want to talk about Love in 2020? They collaborated, and here to talk about it. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, the wonderful ladies of Love in 2020. We have Christina Garofalo, Anna Jaller, and Aaron Dispal. Ladies, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
What a great introduction.
Well, you got a great product yourself too, Love in 2020. And of course, you hear a lot about it. And of course, it's a great story about love in 2020. I mean, it's typically here in the news. A person hates the job, unsuccessful in love. And of course, human contact bans, 6 feet. Quarantine, dating apps, isolation, bad news about losing jobs, and everything else. It all comes together. And of course, this all comes to a series. And you 3 wonderful ladies just put it all together. And Christina, you're a writer and producer and author of When Pigs Heal. And Anna, you're also actress and producer of Homecoming and more. And Aaron, you're also director and producer involved with Ghostbusters and more. And before we talk about Love in 2020 and more as well, too, ladies, tell us how you first got started.
Sure.
Take your pick. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
The 3 of us, well, first I just want to note that my book is called When Dogs Heal.
Dogs Heal. Okay, I'm sorry. My producer just bad handwriting by my producer.
No
oh
worries.
my God. Oh.
When Pigs Heal would be very interesting.
It would be interesting.
Hey, I think we just came up with a great idea.
I know. Maybe that's the 2nd volume. I'm all about it. The 3 of us have known each other for a long time. We actually met in college, and we moved to New York after college, and we're just like creative confidants with one another. We were all pursuing creative careers and sort of leaning on each other for encouragement and support, and eventually wanted to make a project together. And so we started in 2018 working on a dating series set in LA about, a character like Kenna, and someone who doesn't really know herself that well. And so dating is not working out for her. And so we started on that project, but it never really felt like it was coming together. And the stakes didn't feel like they were working. And we kind of put it down and got on with our other projects. And then in March of 2020, when the three of us were actually supposed to fly to New York for a wedding, everything shut down and everyone went home from work. And we thought, if we're going to get through this time, we're going to have to get to work, because as creators, that's just how we survive. So, so we thought, what if we took this web series idea and tried it out during the pandemic? And so we kind of dusted it off, and it actually came together really quickly. It seemed to be the missing piece almost that we needed. Yeah, and it was, the other girls can chime in, but we drew from some real life inspirations, and then also just got to sort of do our take on what was going on and what we were going through day by day as well.
That's really interesting. And ladies, you can also chime as well too. Erin, Anna, feel free to chime in as well. This is very interesting.
Yeah, well, to kind of continue with what Christina was saying, the three of us, obviously, we wanted to collaborate together. I was kind of dating during early March 2020, which was like a really bizarre, unique time to date, right? So like everyone was very scared. Yeah. Everyone was very scared to leave their houses or to see anyone or have any sort of contact. So it was very bizarre time. And I actually kind of met someone early on of March 2020, and our first 3 to 4 dates were over FaceTime.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm kind of like going through this experience, and then we're writing this story together in real time, which was actually really cool because things were changing as we were writing the story. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting way to date someone. And it made me think a lot about like, how do we show connection over a computer screen, which is something we're like really trying to capture in the web series. And what does it mean and look like to have chemistry with someone in this like very specific world with these rules? So that was like something that inspired us. Yeah.
Interesting. I can imagine things go wrong. Don't kiss me, you fool.
Yeah, and I guess I would also just say that, it's like as artists, like we're always hoping to kind of like hold a mirror up to society, or kind of just be able to like, reflect on what humanity as a whole is going through. And so we're like living through this really unique time, and we're like, oh gosh, like we don't, we're still kind of processing in real time, but also like how cool would it be to like just take a moment to reflect, kind of zoom out on our personal experience, and then be able to create something that we're able to share and kind of serves as a time capsule, and still will stand as that for hopefully the test of time of like what that early quarantine period was like for people like us.
That's rather interesting. You talk about you're making this during quarantine and saying it's early quarantine. And any plans of doing this or similar when the quarantine is done, or when simply say that we go back to normal, forget about the 6 feet social distancing and everything? Will there be a sequel to that?
Yeah, I mean, we actually our real goal is to turn this into a feature. So we actually want to keep it as a time capsule of the pandemic experience, but to make it a much longer story that covers more events and more, we kept this to the first couple months of the lockdown because it is a short series, and that's what we felt like we could really execute in the time that we did it. I mean, we actually shot this in August of 2020. So we really, it's a lot's happened since then. Things like, what do we do about the holidays and seeing our families? And what about the vaccine? And, I think that there's a lot that's happened and that is continuing to unfold that we could include in a larger piece. But we do want to keep it as a single kind of snapshot of this experience and what it means to find love and to first find love in yourself. And that's sort of the story we continue to want to tell is falling in love with yourself first.
That's really interesting. And of course, I can see it right now. FaceTime, all the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Or you can put in Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. You can also do that. I can imagine that.
Totally.
Sure.
And what's funny too is like at the beginning of this year, we were like, oh, we're in the post-production phase of the process and editing everything. And all of us were like, okay, we got to finish this and get this out there so that it'll still be relatable. But what's really fascinating about this time is that it still feels like we're in it in a lot of ways, and it's still very present in a lot of our lives. So I don't know. My parents keep asking me about 11/20/21 story. So
11/20/21. I think that'd be interesting. And I can see it right now. Everybody lets their hair down and can say, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down and stay 6 feet away from me.
there you go.
Oh my gosh. And I can see another Romeo and Juliet in the works as well, too. We'll talk more about love in 2020 and your careers as well, too. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goals Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also brought to you by Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so yours. Who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming, and what better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever you get for grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise at themikewagnershow.com. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and a lot more. Makes great Christmas gifts and year-round too, 24/7, 365. Make sure you give the loved ones. And also check out the Mia Molson-Zia store on Amazon for great books like Missing, Once, Wrinkles, cool merchandise, T-shirts, pop sockets, and hoodies. Go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. And also don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show generously at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Anchor FM/support and PayPal. And make sure you give generously today. We work very hard just for you. We're here with the cast of Love in 2020, Christina Garofalo, Anna Jowler, and Aaron Disbro here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about Love in 2020, we got off to a great start. And let's talk about how did you guys first get started in your career? So let's start with Aaron, or we can go with Christina, or you can go with Anna. So take your pick.
I'll jump in. I actually started out in editing in the commercial world. So I'm from the East Coast. I worked in commercials in New York for a few years. And I learned a lot about filmmaking. I eventually always knew that I wanted to get into narrative filmmaking and kind of leave the commercial world, but I learned a lot of the technical side of post-production, which has been so helpful for me later in life. Just even with this series and directing, it's given me a lot of technical knowledge about like how the later part of the filmmaking process happens. And it also just really taught me like how do I tell a story in 30 seconds or less? So
Huh. Interesting.
yeah, it was a really interesting way to kind of start out in the industry. And then I moved out to California, to Los Angeles, and got into making movies. Yeah, so I've been really lucky to work a lot in the studio world. Like you mentioned, I worked on Ghostbusters, Long Shot with Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, and I've just been able to really kind of see how that world works, which is also very helpful for indie filmmaking. Yeah, so that's my story. If you guys want to jump in.
That's interesting. Before we have others jump in, though, who are some of your favorite directors growing up, as well as some of your favorite movies?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love everything that Richard Linklater does, like Before Sunrise and that whole series. I just think is so cool. I love Olivia Wilde is like a huge inspiration to me as a female director. I would love to work with her someday.
Hmm.
David Fincher is amazing. So it's really cool to work on that was like one of the first jobs I had in Hollywood, was working as a production assistant on a TV show for him. So that
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah, that was really amazing.
Hmm.
But
That is amazing as well, too. And Christina or Anna, now tell us how you guys first got started in your career. So one of you two, go ahead and jump.
You can go.
Great. Well, I'm an actress as well as a producer, and I've been acting and being in plays and being a part of the theater community ever since I was young, going to theater camp, my theater camp days. But we, like Erin mentioned, we all met in college. And I've studied theater in college, moved to New York City afterwards, was doing some like off Broadway plays and some indie films. And oh my gosh, also, I just have to give a shout out to Erin and Christina, because God bless them. They came to like every single weird black box play I was doing in New York when I was first starting out. There was one where I was a vampire. I like got turned on stage. There was a whole thing. I probably, maybe that's embarrassing, shouldn't have shared, but that's fine. They deserve a lot of credit for showing up for me. And so I was doing some commercials, things like that in New York. Eventually had the idea, like, I think as an actress, you're always wondering, like, but what about LA? And what about, being more involved in the TV and film industry out there? So eventually made the move. And I was fortunate within like my first 6 months of being in LA, landed a role in the Entourage movie, which was super fun and felt like the most like Hollywood of all Hollywood experiences, and since then I've been fortunate to be in several TV shows, and also started producing myself, which that journey kind of started out of necessity. As a lot of actors, you're always here to make your own work, and there are so many actors who are successful with that path. So working on web series, co-producing like a feature film, and I'm keeping at it. So it's so fun to be able to now produce with my best friends, and to be able to act and take on the lead role as well was just like truly such a joy for me.
And it sounds like you're having a lot of fun, too. Who are some of your favorite actors and actresses, and your favorite movies growing up?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Well, so Julia Roberts is honestly who made me want to become an actress. I've just always adored her and everything. And I think even as a younger girl watching Erin Brockovich, I was like, I love this woman, and who is this like, strong, empowered lady, and like telling these like fierce female stories. I love her. So gotta shout out Jules, my girl. There's so many people that I admire. I love Keith Blanchett's work. Can't not say Meryl, of course. Meryl, just amazing. And I also really love like big, broad, goofy comedies. Like honestly, Anchorman is probably one of my favorite movies, and I love Will Ferrell. And what's cool too is that he has like a whole female production company as well, Gloria Sanchez Productions. So I really admire a lot of like the female collaborators that he has surrounding him, as well as Paul Feig, who Erin's been fortunate enough to work with, but who champions so many female filmmakers and amazing, hilarious female comedians. And
It sounds like you got an amazing career as well, too. Working with some great people and everything else. And then Christina, you're also a writer, producer, author of When Dogs Heal and more. And tell us how you first got started in your career.
Sure. I like the other girls, I started out in New York, so I was working in magazines and publishing. I was working in fashion, and later transitioned into travel writing. So I was a travel journalist for 5-6 years, and still do some editing in that world. But I always wanted to get into narrative. I always wanted to write for, secretly kind of always wanted to write for TV and film, but it was definitely something that I did a lot as a young person. I, like Anna, was really involved in theater as a high schooler and middle school aged kid. So I always had that background and kind of desire, but I didn't really, honestly, I think I didn't really know that I could do that as a job, write those things, until, I have a cousin who came out and started working in this world, and it was like, oh, I guess it is a thing that I could maybe do, and I didn't know how, and I think I wasn't really sure, how to go about that. But so, I worked in nonfiction doing journalism and stuff, and then I had the opportunity a few years ago to write this book, One Dog's Heel, which was a really amazing opportunity and challenge. It's a series of 36 interviews told from the perspective of these participants about their experience living with HIV and how their dogs have helped them sort of cope with their with the virus and with the stigma, and sort of just have a new approach to life and decide to live and not, die or be isolated. So that was really illuminating for me, because it also was proof that I could write something really long form, and I knew I could do it, but it really, having that assignment and the accountability to get it done, it was a really good growth opportunity for me. And then around the same time I was studying screenwriting, I was reading all the books and reading screenplays and reading television pilots and starting to, work on this project with Anna and Aaron. And through this project really learned, with their help, especially how to write a series and how to improve my writing. And, it's a very different thing when you can write in a book. You are able to be inside that character's head and know what they're thinking and feeling. But coming to TV and film, the big challenge was how do you show that? You can't get in that perspective. And so especially working with Anna as an actor, as someone who's conveying that on screen and what's possible, and working with Erin, who knows kind of what works in the end, because she's been through many, many versions of things that don't work and has to cut them out. And so that really pushed me to improve. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm working on Love in 2020, the feature, and I'm working on another pilot. And so just hopeful that these next steps will be just as fun and fulfilling.
That sounds interesting what you did, and a big challenge, like writing from a book, a magazine, and translate to a screen. I mean, that's a very big challenge itself in terms of transition. And who are some of your favorite writers or screenwriters growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like like Anna, I really grew up watching Julia Roberts movies, but I would say growing up, I really loved Nora Ephron. I loved all her Sleepless in Seattle, all those rom-com, those Meg Ryan rom-coms I really grew up on. But I think as I've gotten older, I would say some big inspirations are Aline Brosh McKenna. She's just such a badass screenwriter who does a lot to help younger screenwriters in the industry. And I'm a huge fan. I also really love Olivia Wilde, like Erin mentioned. Huge fan of Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Issa Rae and Jen Statsky on television. Everything that, Jen Statsky is the showrunner for Hacks she's working with Mike Schur, and I just love Mike Schur's shows. I loved The Good Place, and she worked on that. And I love what they're doing with Hacks and showing this powerful female comedian and this young female and their relationship. It's just really inspiring to start seeing a different side of powerful women on screen. And also I love Wes Anderson. Honestly, when I saw The Royal Tenenbaums, oh, I feel like this is something I would want to aspire to make, but in my own version. So
That's really interesting as well, too. Everything all coming together with all your talent and all your creativity, coming out with Love in 2020 and with Kenna Benjamin. Of course, you talk about, hating her job, being unsuccessful in love and everything. And do you think you see Kenna Benjamin as a potentially like strong character, like say along the lines of Julia Roberts, Aaron Brockovich, and, how you managed to overcome and I just wanted to say is that how true is it, or what do you think the percentage would be that they're all in Kenna's shoes, like hate the job, unsuccessful in love, dating apps, and quarantine? And I looked at the trailer, and her boss asked her to fire some people, and I'm just like, at a young age, why? Oh my gosh! I'm like, you asked me to fire people? Isn't that your job?
Yeah, but that's an experience that part of that was we talked to our friends and things that people we knew were going through. And that was certainly a common experience, that during this time people had layoffs, and often a boss would put that responsibility on a lower level manager, and then they would eventually be let go. And so it would kind of take care of the dirty work for them. And I think especially in Kenna's story, like, this is a young woman who feels that she has to be agreeable all the time, because that's how we're taught to, as women, to survive in the workplace and to succeed in the workplace, is to not say no and to not push back and to not be labeled difficult. And so I think that experience, it was kind of a smaller storyline in the web series, but in the feature version, it's something that we do plan to build out a little bit, because I think the professional identity and challenge of some of these situations as a woman is really important. And I think a lot of women relate to.
Mm-hmm. And of course, too, I also noticed as well, too, on lovein2020.com, you also have on some interesting episodes like 51st FaceTime dates, the sex episode. I'm having a hard time saying it 10 times fast. Self-care and Walden's Make It and The Climb, and maybe just tell briefly about those and what else to expect.
Sure. Sorry, I don't want to like hog if anyone else wants to talk.
You guys can jump in. Go ahead. You're all doing great.
Yeah, 51st FaceTime Dates is, Kenna's adventures going through the dating apps and trying to figure out what she wants and what clicks for her. And you'll see a little bit of the challenge that she has in not really knowing herself and how that becomes a hurdle with dating. The sex episode is something that I think we've all experienced, which is when an ex who really has a hold on you comes back into your life, and it doesn't.
Hello.
Yeah, and of course, it never really, it always proves to be, you know why they were not in your life in the first place by the end. And self-care is Kenna's turn. She hits rock bottom after the situation with the ex, and she kind of needs to figure out how to get comfortable with who she is and figure out who that is if she's going to survive being stuck inside with herself for a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then Valdine's is actually, which maybe Anna can chime in, because it's a little bit, that was kind of a joint thing that we worked on. Anna is, her mom is from Germany, and that's actually a German word. It is inspired by Walden, as in Walden Pond. It's to be alone with yourself in the woods, kind of, and to kind of the comfortable solitude you feel when you're alone. And so that's maybe gives a hint as to where she finds herself at the end of a FaceTime date.
I'll have to put that word in my German vocabulary. What is it again? Waldeinsamkeit. Waldeinsamkeit.
Waldeinsamkeit. Yeah.
Oh boy, that's gonna take me 10 times over pretzels, beer, or whatever it is.
Yes, 100%. Well, you know that, yeah, the German words they're not short, they're very long. Hard to say, but there's some really cool words that exist in their language that we don't have. They just run.
I think they should put you in charge of, putting titles in German. I think they'll put you in charge. I like that episode 5. I like that.
Thank you.
No problem. And where can we find Love in 2020 at?
Yeah, so it's lovin2020tv.com is our website. And we're also, on social media at lovin2020tv. And then we're also really excited because we're having this wonderful festival run. Like you mentioned, we're part of Dances with Films, which is really exciting. And then we also have the upcoming Burbank Film Festival, which is September 9th. We're screening at 11 p.m. So, maybe bring your PJs or something, PJs and
Or
popcorn.
I can come like this or come as I am. So,
oh, yep. Come on out. It's at the AMC in Burbank. We're screening there. So we're very excited about that. September 9th at 4 p.m. We're also a part of the Pasadena Film Festival. And that's at the Lemley Theater in downtown Pasadena, which is super charming and cute. So we're excited about that. And then after that, we also have at the end of September, date TBD, Holly Shorts Film Festival, which, like Dances with Films, is at the Chinese Theater in downtown Hollywood. What an amazing, iconic venue. So yeah, we've got a lot coming up. So we would love for, any of your amazing listeners to come see us in person. We'll be at the screenings. We would love to meet people afterwards. And if not, or if they're too far away, you can check us out at lovin2020tv.com.
we certainly do so. What's coming up for the gang in just 1 minute? Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is a key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit the cast of Love in 2020, Christina, Anna, and Aaron after this time out. We're back with the cast of Love in 2020, Christina Garofalo, Anna Jaller, and Aaron Dispro here on the Mike Wagner Show. And ladies, tell us what you got coming up in 2021 and beyond. What can we expect from you guys?
Yeah, well, I'm currently actually working on a movie called Borderlands, which is based off a video game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be really cool. It's with Cate Blanchett. She plays like a badass action star with an orange wig. So
Ooh.
excited for that. Yeah. And yeah, other than that, we are, like Christina mentioned, are, full throttle on this feature. We want to turn Love in 2020 into a feature indie film. So that's really where our focus is for the upcoming year.
Okay. And Christina?
Yeah, I mean, like Aaron mentioned, I feel like the feature is kind of the main focus right now because I've got to turn out that script. So after kind of the festival run for the next few months, I'll be hunkering down to try to finish that by hopefully the end of 2021. But we'll see. And I'm working on a television sitcom pilot, so hopeful that will get some attention.
Okay. And then Anna, how about you? What can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, well, also Love in 2020, the feature, woot woot. Continuing with the festival circuit, which we're super excited about. And then also, some other more acting opportunities that are in the works. I don't think I can, nothing I can share about quite yet, but yeah, hopefully have some good news for you the next time we talk, Mike.
Well, keep us up to date on that. We're looking forward to what you got. And who do you consider biggest influences in your career? So take your turns, guys.
Okay, well, I will go. For me, because I started out in film editing, female film editors like Thelma Schumacher and Sally Menke, I idolize them and they're huge influences for me. I think a lot of people don't realize that the process of film editing is really the final place where the story gets told. So I just kind of fell in love with it early on. And even with directing, I just bring a lot of the post-production and film editing knowledge with me when I'm trying to tell stories. But yeah, I really admire them both. Sally Menke, may she rest in peace, but she worked with Tarantino for a very long time. And I just think these women who kind of blazed the trail in Hollywood during a time when it was not very easy for women to make a name for themselves are just so important. and to just have these women as role models and people to look up to just really influenced me a ton, especially early on.
Oh, that's amazing. And then how about you, Christina or Anna? Who are your biggest influences?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of said it before, but probably as again, like over the course of my life, I would say probably Nora Ephron, again, because she was also a journalist and wrote essays, and so she had a kind of a similar trajectory, and to the one that I'm trying to follow. But I would say, yeah, more recently, specifically, I would say like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Issa Rae, just both of their shows, Insecure and Fleabag. I feel, just watching what they've done with complex female characters who are hilarious, but like just feel so real to me and feel like this is my life and this is my family, and I'd never seen it quite that way, I guess, before their shows. And so currently I really just reread their work constantly. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. And Anna, how about you? Your biggest influence in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think I also mentioned a few of them earlier, like my girl Jules Roberts. We go way back. But yeah, I also really love and admire Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I was just thinking about amazing, like, strong women in comedy that have come before us, like even like Goldie Hawn, like, who again Erin had the privilege of working with as well, but just so amazing and so funny and iconic, and these women who like aren't afraid to just like embrace physical comedy and like make gutsy, bold choices. And yeah, so love her. Also just thinking about Greta Gerwig, who I really admire as an actress and a filmmaker, and the stories that she tells. And I have to give it up to Frances McDormand, who is just like the most iconic, like she just, to me, fully embodies somebody who is so dedicated to their craft and just to the work. And the rest of the Hollywood stuff is just like, nah, she's like the feeling of just like, nah, it doesn't matter. Sure, I'll get awards, sure, all these things. But for her, it's all about just like really committing to the work and really portraying like real people. And you see her and you're like, yes, I'm watching a real person's story. And just so cool. And she's just having such an amazing, the longevity in her career is so inspiring, and like, wow, to have a career like hers would just be a dream.
And that is very amazing, ladies. And what's the best advice you guys can give to anybody at this point?
In filmmaking specifically?
It can be anything in general.
I mean, I would say for filmmaking in Hollywood, the best thing I ever did when I first moved here was get coffee and lunch with as many people as I possibly could. That's usually the first piece of advice I give to people. Yeah, we love our coffee. Yeah, because I think the more people you meet, especially without an agenda, like just kind of like, I'm here, I want to meet, I'm asking for advice, or just kind of scheduling like a casual lunch is honestly, like, for me, was the most beneficial thing that I did when I first moved here. Relationships are so important, and people, especially in the filmmaking industry where you're spending hours and hours in a room together, it definitely takes up a huge part of your day. People want to just work with people they like and that have a positive attitude and work hard. So yeah, I would just really emphasize the importance of networking.
That's very important as well, too. And how about you, Christina or Anna?
Yeah, I think that's like the actor's journey. Like, I think a lot of it is about like patience and perseverance and kind of coming face to face with, honestly, constant rejection. So you're hearing no, you're hearing no, you're hearing no constantly, but still believing in yourself and still continuing and being like, okay, every no gets me closer to a yes. And like, I think it's just a lesson in staying driven, staying positive, staying optimistic, and ultimately like connecting to why you're doing it in the first place. Because if you don't have a connection to that, you're going to get super run down and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I keep hearing no, this is so exhausting. But if you remember like your why, and that you're connected to like the love of storytelling and the love of like embodying these different characters, and that can kind of help you to push through. And there have been so many times, I think most actors have, where they're like, oh, I'm giving up, or this is the last thing, or it's just too hard. But I feel like whenever I've sort of hit one of those moments and I've just kept pushing just a little bit further, there's been like an amazing yes or an amazing opportunity on the other side of that. And the other part of it, of course, also is like being able to create your own work and being able to make your own opportunities, like I was able to do with Love in 2020 with these lovely ladies. So yeah.
That is so amazing. And Christina, how about you? What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what Anna's saying kind of resonates as well with being a writer and getting the rejections. So I want to, first just echo what she said of that perseverance and connecting to your why, because yeah, I mean, I think if you're going into writing to, for any reason other than because you need to write and you need to you're called to tell stories, then I think it's going to be difficult, like it's not glamorous, the day-to-day being a writer. It's a lot of uncomfortable work and staring at a blank page and saying all of my thoughts suck. Like, it's just
The next movie, thoughts suck.
yeah, it's just that's the writer's journey. Thoughts suck. So I mean, yeah, but I would say things that really help are reading. Any kind of writing you want to do, the best way you can get better at it is to read a shit ton of. Sorry, are we allowed to curse on this podcast? Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, just reading. Like for right now, it's reading screenplays and reading pilots and reading and watching other series and reading fiction and reading. The more that you can read, the better you are at learning what the beats are and what the next right step is when you are kind of in the weeds of like, I don't really know where this is going and is this even a story. So I would say that, and also just having a community of other creatives, other writers, other, people who are trying to make art, because you realize that all the thoughts that come when you're really struggling of, oh, maybe I'm not good at this, or oh, this is so hard, or oh, I haven't written in a week, or whatever it is, like you realize that everybody has those thoughts and there's not something wrong with you. It's just part of the process. And so I think the more that you can just connect with other people who are doing the same work as you, the easier it'll be.
And that's very important as well, too. Great advice, great stories, and great inspiration, ladies. Once again, we're with the cast of Love in 2020, Christina Garofalo, Anna Jella, and Aaron Gisbro here on the Mike Wagner Show. Ladies, a very big thank you for your time. You absolutely are amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 and beyond with more Love and Beyond. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people check out Love 20 in 2021 and all the works?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And you can find us on 112020tv.com is our website with all 6 episodes. We're also on Instagram at 112020tv. And we also have all these upcoming festivals like Anna mentioned. So we'd love to see all of you there. And thank you so much for having us, Mike. We really appreciate it.
It's great having you guys on board. And once again, a very big thank you for your time. Love in 2021. You guys are all amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 and beyond with Love and more. And don't forget to keep in touch. Keep us up to date. You guys have been absolutely terrific. And we definitely wish you all the best.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah.